So, in this episode, I want to talk about some of the very stereotypical things that I hear very, very often. And not a lot of this stuff it gets brought up very often. There's some things, there's some things that I would like to say that some people do or say that's very stereotypical and also very hypocritical about a certain type of people, or I shouldn't really say type of people, but group of people or whatever. But I'm also not going to say anything about that. Anyways, back to the point of this podcast or episode. What I find more interesting when people bring up these topics of people assuming things or people automatically shutting the book on something or someone just because they are dressed a certain way or they talk a certain way or they do things a certain way or they might be doing something other people might find that is not in their time or not in their stuff of things that they normally do. Anyways, motorcycle riding or motorcyclists. And I'm not talking about the ones that just buy a bike and garage it and only take it out to clean it and wax it and ride a couple miles just to say, hey, I'm a biker, or just to ride it just to show off the new bike they just bought, or or the people that just ride all summer long too. Don't get me wrong, riding in cold, rainy, icy, snowy weather does suck, but anyways, not all bikers ride in the wintertime, not all bikers ride in the fall time, and not all bikers are bad, and not all bikers are bad people, are angry people. They're not. A lot of bikers don't tend to do drugs. A lot of bikers actually tend to live an awesome lifestyle of just riding their bike whenever they want, or choosing the pack up and go lifestyle. And not many people can choose that because they're stuck in their day job, or they're stuck in a mortgage, or they just don't know what they could do without the certain things in life that keep them going. So, how does this fit in a stereotypical thing? Well, everybody assumes the worst, and when everybody assumes the worst, and it's mainly from TV shows that give the bad rep about certain groups of people or just people in general. This is just my thoughts, my opinions. Shouldn't really judge a book by its cover. You shouldn't judge a person by the cover. Just because a person talks a certain way or looks a certain way, it doesn't mean he or she is no different from you, and you shouldn't just automatically cut that person off. So yeah, if you don't ride motorcycles, you should. If you do, stay riding. I have crashed a few times before, but it hasn't really stopped me from enjoying what I do and what I love doing. I'm currently learning how to take my bike apart and put it back together, but I'm not doing it over a quick time. I'm doing it over a period of time. That way I can still ride it and everything. I'm just basically maintaining it, keeping it clean. Yeah. Anybody that's wanting to try a motorcycle out, or anybody that is a potential rider or potential future rider, should definitely go with a Kawasaki and Hondas. Those are really good bikes to start out with. I wouldn't say go with a automatic. I know there's some bikes out there that are automatic, and I wouldn't say they're the best bikes to start out with. I started out on the mopeds or scooters, and they were not a two-wheel bike to get me started on a actual motorcycle. When I first got on a motorcycle, I was so scared shitless, and when I was going to take the test, I was shaking. The test was a test to get my endorsement, and I was scared that I was going to actually have to ride a motorcycle that day. But luckily they had mopeds at the time, and I rode one of those. But if you're going to learn, you might as well go all in and just learn on a bike. But start off on something small and just work your way up. And those are my thoughts, and have a great night.